The hands are arguably one of the most dexterous part of the human body, if not the most dexterous part of the human body. There's so many tiny little joints, and these bad boys right here are the game changer of the nation. In this video, we're just gonna go ahead and talk about how to make your fingers feel good, especially if you have an occupation or you have a hobby where you're just constantly using your hands all day long and they may get a little bit tweaky. So let's go over some stretches, some strengthening in order to make them hands feel pretty darn good. Without any further ado, let's just break it down to some basic simple anatomy real quick. Understand that the fingers, the phalanges, the hands, are more or less made up of 4 bones. Those 4 bones could be the little tiny tippity tip right here. We could call that bone 1. The middle piece right here, call that bone 2. This one right here is bone 3. And bone 4 is actually from here all the way to right here. And that is true for all of your fingers. So your knuckles is really just the end point of your bones showing up, bang, bang. All that just goes to say that it's very complex and has a lot of movement. As you see, I could move my bones, they could shift up and down, and they're mobile. In terms of the range of motion that the finger has, which is a lot, we have opening from side to side. We have opening as in up and down, basic opening. And we also have circular motions. And for our stretches, we're going to be hitting all those ranges of motion. We're going to hit some wrist stuff too, because the wrist is directly related to the hands. Very close. You could say they're right next to one another. Let us begin with some of the most basic hand exercises that can be used as a warm-up and a little bit of a strengthening as long as you put some tension within your exercises. Number 1, and it's pretty simple, right? It's just a close and then the open. When we're closing it, we are trying to make a fist that's nice and firm, as if we're choking something for a little bit of time. So it's not going to be a soft grip. It's going to be a nice hard grip, a nice firm grip, closing it all the way. There should be a little bit of a shake, and then we're going to open it up. We're not going to open it up quick. We're going to open it up as if it's kind of like a spider web around it, and we're expanding the fingers as far as we can, trying to really spread out the fingers and the thumb while we're at it as much as we can. From there, we're going to close it again. One more time. We're not trying to go like that. We're trying to go close and then expand. Close and expand. Really putting in the emphasis of squeezing relatively hard and opening relatively hard. That's going to do a couple things. For one, it's good to squeeze hard periodically just to make sure your muscles are still working. And also, it's very important to open hard very periodically, a motion that's not very oftenly done. Doing so will just help out the extensors, the muscles on top of the forearm, as well as balance out any closing motion or gripping motion that you do quite a lot. Because we're going ahead and being a little bit stiff or strong as we're opening it, we're also building strength in this range of motion right here. Because typically speaking, when you expand your hand as much as possible, it's not too comfortable to stay there. That just means that your hand is under resistance from your body, and as we fight it, a little bit of strength, some integrity is being built there. By the way, in case my fingers look a little bit weird to you or chunky, it's because I climb a lot. The next one we're gonna do is, instead of a close and open like a bomb, we're just gonna do a straight on, open and close like that. Now we're working the opening and closing the fingers, just so that we could hit all the possible ranges of motion. Let's not forget to incorporate that thumb into it as well. It will feel a little bit strange because this motion right here is one that we hardly ever have to do on a daily basis. Even though I've only done a couple of them, I can already feel my tendons, my muscles straining, because this motion is very foreign to me. It will be foreign to you as well. Switching hands is a good way to do about it in order to just keep the motion constant. And just like with the other open and close exercise we're doing, I'm not just opening and closing soft willy-nilly. I'm actually putting some great grit and tension into it. The tension isn't only there for when I open my hands out to the side. It's also there when I crush and compress them. If these two fingers right here didn't exist, then my index along with my pinky fingers are literally colliding with one another as hard as they can. Same is true for these two fingers. They're trying to merge into one another. And now I'm trying to create strength in the muscles that bring the fingers together. Remember, because the fingers are a very complex thingy, my bobbers, we really want to work all the possible angles of the muscles that are affiliated with all the joints. Remember how it has 4 joints? A lot of muscles wrap around that. Not like a lot, hardly any, but there's enough of them that we really should start to work it out, at least the tendons, for anything's sake. This next exercise is going to be pretty darn hard to do. I find it even difficult. We're going to take one hand or 2 hands at a time. All these can be done 1 or 2 hands at a time. It's really your preference. But as we did the open and closing and the open and closing, we now got to activate that rotational ability that the finger has within it. There's a couple ways we could go about it. Like we could just do 1 at a time like that, which is very difficult, or we could do it with the fingers spread out completely, which I think is much easier. Starting off with, say, the thumbs, because let's not forget the thumbs, we're gonna put a rotation. The rotation will be done just like the rest of the exercise. We're not really going for like a soft rotation. If you look at it, this is like a soft rotation where I'm barely putting in any strain or strength. We really want to build strength in a big range of motion. So immediately my fingers, I'm going to put some tension in them. You see them tense up? They're tense and my fingers are spread. From here, I'm going to force my thumbs to crank like an old rusted crank, going one direction as well as the other direction. The whole time, I'm really focusing on trying to keep my hands as rigid and firm as they can be. Now that my thumb is done, now I'm gonna move on to my index. The same is true. My fingers, all of them are tense, so they're not relaxed, they're tense. And then I'll go the opposite direction. The importance of the tension of the fingers is pretty darn high because we not only want to make them feel good, we want to make them feel a little bit tired, put some strain on them so that they can get stronger over time the more that we do these. I'm moving on to my ring finger next. Of course, there will be some fingers that are just easier for you to do and others that are just extremely difficult for you to do. Right now, I'm doing it with my hands completely flat down on the ground, but you could do it in any orientation you wish. I'm just doing it for the purpose of showing the camera. I just moved on to my pinkies right now, and it is absolutely difficult for me to do this. Let's add in just one more for the fingers to really maximize everything. Typically speaking, we're pretty accustomed to closing our hands, though most people will find it difficult to try to extend the fingers beyond what the knuckles will allow you to do, as in backwards in the hand. But that's exactly what we're going to try to go ahead and do. We're going to start from a closed fist position. This time, we don't want to spread out our fingers, though you can if you wish. More so, the idea here is we want to unfold the fingers and then try to crank them as far back against our wrists as we can without assistance, using just pure muscular contraction of our bodies. This will be a very difficult thing to do, for you may feel as if you're making 0 to no progress. However, it's all right. The key thing here is we don't want to be relaxed. Same thing with all the other ones. Unfurl the fingers when they get here. Really crank them backwards as much as we can. We're not really looking for that wrist to extend up like that, though that may happen and it's totally all right. We're just really looking to push those fingers up and behind as much as we can. When we're there, hold it for a little bit of a time. Relax. Woof. Start again from a closed fist position. The way I'm unfurling my fingers is kind of like in a wave-like motion. So that's how I'm unfurling them. Of course, you could just do a normal one, but I like to scrape my fingers along my palm, let it unfurl, and then try to extend my fingers as high up as possible. That's just really gonna force my fingers to work in a range of motion they're not really accustomed to, all while keeping the tension. You do all 4 of those exercises, open and close, along with open and closed, along with circles, and just a straight up extensor, all with some great rigidity in your hands and flexation in order to build strength. And over time, you will realize that your range of motion in your finger has gotten significantly better. Rather important if you really never pay much attention to your fingers and all you really do is use that motion or your thumb a lot. We really want to get our fingers used to being as mobile as they're really meant to be. You really shouldn't need no more than say 5 to 10 minutes a day every day for your hands to start feeling a little bit more alive than what they used to be. Remember, it's just really important to use all the possible ranges of motion possible for your digits in order to keep them nice, alive, and lively and happy. Now you know.